the man who lived on the bridges of Paris for a decade. In the early 1990s, people in Paris began noticing a man living permanently on the city's bridges, particularly Pont Neuf, one of the oldest bridges in Paris. His name was Jean-Marc, but he became known as the Bridge Man. He lived there for over 10 years and became a part of the city's daily scenery. Who was Jean-Marc? Jean-Marc was a young, aspiring artist and musician at the beginning of his life. Born into a middle-class family, he experienced a series of personal and professional failures that left him feeling isolated. After losing his job and home due to financial troubles, he chose to live on the bridges rather than in a homeless shelter, seeing the bridge as a symbol of freedom. How did he survive? Jean-Marc built himself a small corner on the bridge using scraps and wood to create a temporary shelter. He would wake up every morning and play the violin, which drew the attention of tourists and passers-by. His music was melancholic yet full of emotion, making him beloved by many. Some stopped to offer him money and food, while others chose to talk to him to learn his story. What happened during those years? Local fame. Over time, Jean-Marc became a well-known figure in Paris. Journalists wrote about him, and artists painted him. The bridge he lived on became a tourist attraction just to see him. Human connections. Despite being homeless, Jean-Marc formed strong relationships with the local residents who respected his choice of life. They provided him with clothes and food, and some even tried to help him return to a more stable life. His nightly adventures. Jean-Marc became famous for his stories about nightly adventures in the city. He claimed to roam the streets of Paris when everyone was asleep, searching for the hidden beauty of the city. The end of the story. In 2002, after a decade of living on the bridges, Jean-Marc suddenly disappeared. No one could find him, and his destination remained unknown. Some rumors suggest that a wealthy benefactor helped him start a new life in the French countryside, while others believe he left Paris to begin a new chapter elsewhere. Nevertheless, Jean-Marc remains a Parisian legend, a symbol of courage and resilience in the face of life's challenges. His story has inspired documentaries and songs and is now considered part of the hidden tales of the City of Light.